Hello, beloved and blessed jewelry community. Welcome to this tutorial number 4 in jewelry design with Blender. My name is Damien Rohrbach and welcome. Let's get to it. So, in the last tutorial, we model gemstones. So let's go and import STL and let's go find our gemstone. So I'm going to bring a diamond. Set the origin to geometry right there. Okay, let's bring it to the center of the system. Okay, now diamond sizes. The real size of diamonds depends a lot on how they've been cut. So they're never the same size. Let's say 1 carat diamond size. We're gonna find it's around 6.4, 6.5 millimeters in diameter. So there you go, approximately 6.5. But as you can see, it says very clearly that it's an approximate because that can change and it can change quite a lot. You're gonna get sometimes a 6.2, 6.8, 6.3, all the sizes. Mainly because some, well, even many diamonds are not so well cut. So they're going to be less valuable because a diamond that is not cut properly will not shine properly. And that's why it's one of the important factors about diamonds is how well they've been cut and polished, obviously. But generally, if they've been well cut, they're well polished because the person who did the job was an expert in his field. Okay, so diamond, we're going to bring in another shape. I think I'm going to use the trapeze right there. Let's bring this also the origin to geometry. Let's save. Never forget to save your files from an early stage. Video 4. There you go. Okay. So now this diamond, we're going to bring it to a size 6.4. Actually, I prefer, let's go to, okay, so dimension 6.45. 6.45 and just copy paste the scale to get it. So as you can see, because the diamond has been imported and exported, it has some different faces on the sides. So let's go to edit mode, active the transparency, deselect that. I'm going to move this a bit higher and make it a bit bigger. So my goal is that the big faces don't look cut in half. So now this is corrected. Actually, I'm going to export this one back. So I'm going to export it and save it again. Okay, ready. So that's the size of the diamond. In Blender, it's important to do a Control A and apply scale to have it set back to its origin. You know what? Now I'm checking on the downside. Also, I'm going to select those and move them a bit downer so the big faces don't look cut in half that much. Obviously, that's a visual issue. In the render, it shouldn't affect that much. Let me straight the angle right there. Okay. And in the manufacturing of the jewel, obviously won't affect absolutely nothing because we're not printing the gemstones. We could print the gemstones. That's quite fun. I might talk about that someday and show why we would, yeah, it could be done. It's fun. We've done that, obviously. Many people have done that. It's there are reasons to do that. All right, anyway, let's export that again. Just like checking details. All right, so now the trapeze, that one is hidden right there. So let's bring it to a, let's go to a 2 and 4 to have a nice 2 and 4 millimeters. Yeah, and let's bring it like this. So they're also visually, the faces are different from the way we model them. That's because when the XTL exports, it um, divides the faces differently than the way they might look when you're in edit mode. And well, basically because there must be triangles mainly. So that's what happens. We see triangles. But visually in the render, actually it might be in our favor because more refraction, more faces, more refractions, better looking diamond. Right, anyway, it's not about that today. So, okay, so I have that. So we have our gemstone. So we need to start modeling settings for the stones because obviously, well, not obviously and not always. I will try to go step by step in this series of tutorials, but sooner or later, I won't be so step by step ish because, well, I really need to be creative in what I do because I do it every day, not 24/7 because I do have a life outside of this. Lucky me. But yeah, so well, let's keep. Okay, modeling. So by example, we need a bezel setting for this trapeze here. So, well, like I always say, there are many ways to do that, and it quite much depends on where you want to start and what you have or don't have. What do I mean by that? Well, I need to model a bezel for this specific trapeze. I already have this mesh. So a way to model a setting for stone, well, let's say I'm going to do a Shift D to copy the trapeze. I'm going to hide the original and I'm going to go to edit mode. So the bezel setting is a small wall around the stone, a metal uh, wall. Let's say wall because even if it's very small, it much has the functions of a wall because it also protects the stone. The setting must obviously mount the stone and uh, be in such a way that the stone won't come out, but also the setting must protect the stone. So I'm going to say a small wall of metal. So let's activate the transparency right here. Do a Control A to unselect everything. B for box selection. Delete vertices. Delete vertices. There, here, and there. Okay, that's the shape and the size of the stone. And the bezel from that must come out. So let's select everybody with A, the A key. Alt A is, it used to be A and A that would select and deselect, but now it's A and Alt A. It's been so for quite a long time now. They changed that uh, almost 2 years ago in Blender. Okay, let's do E to extrude, Enter to do nothing, just to apply the extrude that duplicates the vertices, S, and let's go out. So I must do something like that, and then S and X to make it in a good proportion on the other axis, which is the red axis, which is the X axis. Okay, so that had the shape and exact size of the stone, but now I extruded it to the outside. So I'm starting to make a bezel for my trapeze. So let's show the original trapeze there. Okay, so technically it must have somewhere the exact size of the stone. So the stone, when we print the model and cast the model and want to manufacture the jewel, well, the stone must fit exactly into place. Uh, it's not exactly so easy to achieve that in real life from a 3D model for a very simple reason. The printer is going to make somewhere, somehow, sooner or later, a kind of shrinkage. It's going to shrink somehow or expand somehow, depends on the type of resin you have, the type of machine you have. Even very expensive industrial machines, somewhere, somehow, sooner or later, are going to make a kind of deformation. Okay, so now with this, it's a good start. We're going to need something that goes up and something that goes down. Up, because when we're going to manufacture the jewel, we're going to need metal to set the stone, and down because we need the bezel to protect the stone and to be part of the structure of the jewel. Okay, so about the shrinkage, it's there's so many steps in the manufacturing process in jewelry that it's going to depend so much on what technology you're using and what materials you have available and who's going to do the process. Sometimes I do all the processes myself, from the concept to the modeling to the printing to the casting to finishing, polishing the metal and setting the stones. Sometimes, well, still quite rarely, because generally the only process I don't do myself is the casting. I send it to someone. It's faster, it's cheaper, and it's better. I prefer to use my time to more productive things for my business, my type of business, which is more design and finishing oriented. I love to finish my own jewels and to set the stones and all that and to design them. All right, so let's select the top faces. So let's remove the transparency with Alt C. Now with the Shift key, let's select this. I'm going to extrude, E, Enter or click, and let's go. Okay, so how high? it depends a lot also because it depends who is going to set the stones. Most jewelers, they want this. The stone and 20% more or 40% more. I don't like that. It's useless. Uh, I prefer to be at the height of the stone. That would be this. That would be okay. Now what we can do also is an inset. So let's hit the I key and come a bit on the inside like this. Now let's take this up. So now we have a beveled side, which is prettier. All right. Let's save this. Now let's take the faces on the downside with the shift key. Before you do that, make sure you don't have anything else selected. So you don't only have those because it's really easy to forget that something else might be selected. So always check that. Okay, now let's do an E to extrude. I generally hit E and then do a click or just enter so they don't move at all, and then move the extruded parts. When you hit the E key, generally you're going to see an axis, that the extrusion axis on the screen, and you can already extrude from that. But that axis won't always be there. So I almost never use that axis. Okay. So now, well, I could do, so now it depends on the design I want. Let's go with the extrusion. Obviously, the bezel, well, obviously, yes, but it's not so obvious. The bezel must go downer than the tip of the stone, which means that this would be wrong because the stone is coming out of the bezel. And well, that might be okay in some very specific occasions like earrings, maybe even. I don't recommend that at all, and I never recommend it. The bezel must protect the entire stone, so it means that the bezel should at least be somewhere like here. And then it's all about design because I can make it smaller. Obviously, there's a limit, the angle of the stone on the inside, but this is okay. I think I'm going to do it like this because it looks prettier. Now also I can bevel exactly the way I did. You know what? I see that this, it's funny. I'm going to correct that. Okay, the stone is missing a face. Always some details. After exportation and importations, you always got to check what you have. Okay, so let's do an I key. And let's move that like this to make a small bezel. Let's put it there. But that's not, well, you do it or you don't. You decide that. Making bezels generally make things look better. Okay, so ready. Well, this is a bezel. This is a perfect bezel for this trapeze gem. Let's go to edit mode with the gem because let's select this, and that, and do an F key to complete that missing phase right there. Actually, I'm going to export this guy also and overwrite that guy. And you know what? Yeah, let's do it again. Selection only, trapeze right there. And for the diamond also. I'm just exporting my STL, my gemstones again to make sure they're my reference gemstones. Okay, so I made that bezel using the same mesh, starting from the gemstone and removing what I don't need and starting from that. In this case, it works very well. I can do that for many gemstones, and this is perfect because this gives me the size and the shape of the gemstone, the perfect size and shape. The only thing I need to check now is the thickness, because I think this might be too thin. Okay, a way to do that, let's add a cube and let's scale the cube. Let's put it right here. And let's see, N key to have this menu. So what do we have? Dimension 0.244. That would be millimeters. Well, no, decimals. That would be 0.25, 0.25 millimeters. So that's 2 decimals, 0.5. That's way too thin. So to make for 3D printing and casting and jewelry, you should stick. You can print smaller things and manufacture small things, but you should stick to half millimeter, 0.5 millimeters, 5 decimals. That's the most recommended thickness for everything jewelry, 3D printed, and casting. Because casting, because mold, because resin, because printing, because all that, because jewelry, basically. So stick to 0.5 millimeters and you shall be fine your entire career. So let's put that cube right there. Let's copy it right here with an angle there. So the R key. All right. So let's take our bezel again. Now I'm going to select the outer vertices. That would be this. On the downside, that would be those. So with simple shapes like this one, there's no major problem correcting the model afterwards. Let's do an S key. So that would be there. Let's do an S and Y. Obviously, it's... I know, wait. I know it's okay. So we're seeing that... okay. Yeah, let's do an SY to come somewhere here. Okay. So now it took a different angle shapes. I could do SZ. And actually, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to keep that angle because it looks nice. Okay. Now we have that. And the cube helps me to check my measurement. So I'm at least at 0.5 because the cube helps me to know and make sure that I have at least that thickness in those areas. All right, so this is good. Let's remove the cubes. Poof, poof. Okay, so the bevel, that bevel looks good. And now it's even at a realistic scale and thickness and all that, and it looks good. It's a nice design. So for the diamond, so we'll learn how to make bezels, and actually that's a trapeze bezel, which is a bit more advanced than a round bezel. So I'm not going to make a round bezel. I'm going to make a prong setting, and it's going to be funnier. But I think I'm going to use the same trick. Well, it's not a trick. It's a process. The same process, the same principle. So let's make Shift D, Enter. I'm going to hide the original for a moment. Let's go to edit mode. Alt Z, Alt A. So we are going to remove all these, all that, but here we need to remove. Okay, we can remove now. Okay, we have this, but honestly, I said we might use the same. No, I said we are going to use the same process and principle, but actually we're not, because the vertices we're getting, they're not so leveled. So let's go out of this. Let's remove this. And let's put the cursor right in the middle there. Create, okay, view, and the 3D cursor position. Let's put it directly there in the center. Let's put it totally in 0 there. Let's add a mesh. Okay, beware here. Mesh circle. It's not the same as curve circle. Mesh is not the same as curve. Okay, we have this. This is my circle. Let's go to edit mode and let's make it a bit smaller than the diamond. Okay, so I'm going to make a prong setting. So I need a belt. Let's make ES AS. So I also want this to be thicker than 0.5. And I'm going to, so the belt is a very important part. The belt should not touch the stone, and well, let's make, and we should not be able to see the belt from the top, or very few like this. Okay, C and Shift key is used to deselect. Let's make that. Let's make this, then A, and this. So it means that the belt should have no more than exactly the stone size and no more. Why? Because from the top view, you shouldn't be able to see the belt. And the belt shall not touch the stone. Okay, save A. Y key, let's go on the inside and make that a small bezel. Now, make a Control I, that's to invert the selection, and extrude with the E key. Here we go. Let's make it a bit like this. Let's make smaller like that. Okay, we have this. Now the angle, that would be a nice angle there. Now let's make an F key, sorry, Control Z, and do that. Let's try the edge, bridge edge loops. Okay, we have that. To close that part, let's make an I key like this and have this. The bezel a bit stronger, I guess, like that. Okay, that's perfect. So that's a belt for our prong setting. Let's make it object shade smooth, like that. Let's go to geometry, normals, auto smooth. That looks better. This guy, we're going to make the same shade smooth, normal, auto smooth. Okay. Let's keep on with the prong setting. So we need prongs. So a very easy way to make prongs is let's add a plane. Let's make it the size of the prong. That would be 0.8, 8 decimals, like this. Control A scale. Okay, so that's the size of the prong. Let's come here. Now, let me just move this a bit outside there. Okay, so that's a way to begin the prong. So side view, and let's go to edit mode. Now, the prong, well, actually, I'm going to make it bigger at the top. Okay. Let's start here. The prong must, so let's do an extrusion with the E key. E. Let's do it a couple times. Let's see. Here will be fine. Activate the X-rays. Then Alt A to deselect everybody. Now we're going to start moving to the left. Alt A, B to the left. Alt A, B to the left. Alt A, B. Let's take all that to the left. Okay, the prong must overlap the belt because obviously it's a solid structure. Belt, base, prongs. Okay. Sorry, Alt A, B. There you go. Alt A, B. There we go. Alt A, B, and have a nice curve like this. Now, generally the prongs, they're smaller at the base. The prongs becomes thicker at the top. So these guys I'm making a bit smaller with the S key. BS Alt A. So we have something like that. I'm going to make this smaller. So and not smaller than 0.5, right? You can do it, but you might face some problems, especially if you're a beginner and you want to manufacture the jewel. It's doable at smaller size than 0.5, especially with the new printers and casting machines, but it's still not recommended because of the quality of the jewels we want quality, don't we? Okay, here we are. Alt A, B. Okay, we got this. No, not yet. Okay, B. I'm going to make this a bit more smoother. Okay, this is pretty nice. Let's go to phase mode here. Let's go Y for the inset. Let's go higher. Y again. That's to make the head smoother, like this somehow. Okay, so this would be a square prong, which is nice. So now we're just going to learn the usage of modifiers. So the famous modifiers of Blender, which are just nothing more and nothing less than a blessing and sometimes even a small miracle. So let's use the subdivision surface. Oh, magic. Ah, yeah, and magical too. There you go. Render viewport. It's very easy to set divisions. And then let's use the smooth shading right there. So from a square prong, we have now a very lovely round prong. So modifier, not modifier. Modifier, not modifier. So I can have both designs almost at the same time. Whenever. So let's use the rounded shape. Looks nice. Okay, so it overlaps the stones, obviously, because then the metal must be cut by the stone setter. The stone setter must work on the metal to set the stone. We can prepare quite much from the 3D model to help the stone setting. But at least, well, actually, I'm going to move it somewhere like there. So that's the belt, that's the prong, that's all looking good. Okay, something important. You see that the prong is lighter. It's a lighter gray. and that means that we have a problem somewhere, not on that one, on the other ones. So let's activate the face orientation. And that's funny because I thought it was the other way around, but they changed that. The lighter gray means that the normals are flipped. Let's go to edit mode. A to select everybody right there. Normals, flip. That's corrected. Boom. Bam. Here we go. All right, let's do Control A, all transforms. Okay, so there are many ways to duplicate something around an axis. There are a couple of ways. We're just going to have 4 prongs or 6 prongs or 8 prongs, so I won't use any modifier and all arrays and all that. Let's just do Shift D, Enter, 90 degrees, Shift D, Enter, 100 degrees, Shift D, Enter, 270 degrees, and here we go. We have a 4-prong setting. We need the base. The base is generally very similar to the belt. So let's do a Shift D, Enter. Let's move this down here. And let's go right there. Now let's go to edit mode, vertex mode, Alt C A, S key. So the base, put it right there. Okay, Alt A B S. The base has another angle. Alt C to check that. Okay, so on the outside we're good. On the inside we're not good. So we need Alt A, Alt C, W. Okay, the inside vertices, which are those and these. These are the inside vertices, and let's make these guys smaller, S key. Okay, so obviously, if I do it in the 3-axis, it also shrinks that way like it did with the bezel for the trapeze gemstone. So, but it looks good. It looks nice. So what I'm going to check is if this guy, let's do a subdivision surface. Let's do it 2 times, and let's put the, yeah, okay, the auto smooth is already on. Okay, it's nice, but I don't like it. Let's go to edit mode A. Let's make it so the prongs, okay, that's also a design decision or not. Sometimes the prongs are hidden in the base, sometimes they come out of the base. It all depends. SZ, I'm going to work the design a bit more because I don't like these proportions right there. Okay, also what I want is that I'm going to select all around this, so put select edge loops. No, sorry, select, no, sorry, select edge rings. No, doesn't work. So anyway, take this one and with control, okay, this is funny. Okay, no. With the control key, go around. Okay, it's funny because it's finding a shorter way. Okay, anyway, let's select that all around with the control key. Ding, ding, ding. Sometimes with the edge loops it's faster, but it wasn't working there. I don't know. Okay, let's just do a knife. Anyway, didn't needed it here. Okay, this is to cut and create new edges wherever you want. You can make more divisions if you want here, the loop cut and slide, which is a very used tool. So let's make these edges bigger with the S key. I want this to have a nicer curve, not that straight. It was looking quite bad there. Okay, we have that. Now I want to cut right there also. Now this I'm going to move it out like that. That's nicer. And on the inside, it's quite nice. Let's go out and see. Just let's have a look at what we have. Okay, the belt. The belt in edit mode, A S Z S. I want it a bit bigger. Now it is going to, okay, let's be, okay, on the inside, that would be this. It's perfect. Let's go out that. At A, we have this. Okay, now the prongs. What I don't like about the prong is that it's a bit, let's do an SX. Let's do it at 1.5. So this SY 1.5. Oh, sorry, SX. That one I could have done it at the same time. But the other one, we have this. Okay. Well, this is good. This is perfect for this tutorial. It's not too complex. It's not too easy either. It makes it more interesting. All right, so this guy, I'm going to use also a subdivision surface twice. That's very nice. Okay, so we already know how to make the body of the ring. I'm going to make the entire design. We can make, okay, first I can take these guys. Now go to object, convert, object, convert to mesh. That's important to apply all modifiers at once. Now let's do a Control J. And let's rotate these guys 45 degrees. That would be nice, just like that. The orientation of the prongs, it all depends. You can, that's a design preference or whatever. Okay, front view, add circle, curve circle, 9.1, align to the view. There we go here. Let's take this. Everybody's there, yeah. Let's move it. Ah, no, sorry. No, it's the other one. Perfect. Okay, so into place, that's going to be right there on the finger. Okay, that's looking good. Now, okay, now, well, many things can be done here. Let's create, okay, top view. Add curve circle. Let's go to edit mode. AS. So that's a curve circle. Let's have a global positioning there in 0. Now let's do a W key subdivide. We have right this. Okay, let's take those guys with the S key. Let's move them. No, you know what? Let's take everybody SX. Okay, now we're gonna have those guys SX, SY. Okay, I'm going to start with this. So now the size of this is 5 per 6. That's way too big. Let's have 3. That is going to be the thickness, and the width is going to be this true. So let's use a 2.5. Now I'm going to change here with the shift key, subdivide. And now I'm going to move this guy here. I want some kind of rounded rectangle shape. SY. Here we go. Okay, that's pretty good. And I don't want to be symmetrical, so we're going to change this SY. SY. Okay, and let's move that a bit higher there. Now this guy is SY here, smaller there. Okay, that's a bit too much rounded there. Let's use this guy. I'm going to exaggerate my next move, SY. Okay, here I need these guys to come higher. Now, the sides. Okay, the sides, we are going to make a small indent right here. Oh, sorry, this and that, SY. Now, those guys, W, subdivide, SY. Let's make an indent like this. Okay, that's a pretty nice shape for the body. You're gonna see. Now, curve resolution, let's put 60 right there. So now, the circle is going to bevel our shape. Okay. So now, as you know, let's copy the circle, remove the bezel, and keep the reference at size 8. So, transparency, Alt, edit mode, that's size 8 again. Now, let's take that guy, make it smaller. And smaller again. Okay, that's a size 8, that's correct. Now the resolution there, let's put 80 for the ring. That's pretty nice. We are going to use this. And let's rotate 90 degrees right there. Let's move it here. Okay, now let's work. These are not, I'm not going to join these two meshes. Let's put 0 and Y and 0 and Y like there. So now let's move on. Okay, now it depends. Let's put the big side on the side of the diamond. It could be reversed, you know. Front view, rotate like this. Let's put it right here. So obviously we have the problem of the ring. We need to cut the ring. We're going to cut the ring, obviously. Just be patient. Okay, this is very simple, but it's kind of nice. Let's go a bit downer because we can. Okay, the ring is not centered. Somebody is not centered right here. Who is not centered and why? Okay, maybe my profile. No, but that the position of the profile has nothing to do. You can move the profile wherever you want. That will never affect the beveling geometry, okay? I'm just checking something. Are we? Who is not centered and why? Yeah, the ring is not centered. So I guess my shape there is not that symmetrical. Let's go check this. Oops, sorry. Oops, no. Ah, okay, it's not centered. Okay, so let's center it. There, the position there was. So in edit mode, yes, it affects the beveling geometry. All right. Anyway, so we have this. Now let's learn to use the mirror modifier. Okay, there it says mirror object. The object that's going to be reflected or duplicated is the one I have selected and the one that gets the modifier. But I want it to be from the stone. So that's what it says, mirror object. The mirror is the stone. So it's going to be used, it's going to serve as the mirror axis, uh, just so you know. So the gemstone also mirror, I would say mirror from, or yeah, but anyway, it mirrors from the object I give it here. That's all I need to do. The x-axis is the correct axis there, left to right to left, based on the mirror object. So it's going to reflect from the axis of this object, which is the gemstone in this case, which is the center of the ring of our design. Okay, so that's nice. But there are just a couple of things we need to do now is that, well, we need to remove all the metal that goes there. So that can be done also in many ways. For this tutorial, which one am I going to use? Well, I want to keep parts of this. Okay, let's see. We are going to use a let me see my reference. Where is okay? The Bezier circle for the ring size. Let's give it way more resolution right here and set the size correctly there. Okay, we are going to draw. We're going to make a mesh. So let's mesh cube. Let's make it bigger. Let's center this guy right here and let's go here. No, you know what? Let's go. Let's just do half. Halfway is going to be a bit better. Okay, let's go to edit mode, X-ray, Alt A, B. I'm going to extrude this a couple of times. That should be good. So now R, G, Alt A, B, R, G. I'm going to cut. I'm going to create a mesh to cut the ring for the settings, okay? So let's do this like that. Alt A, B, R, R, G, R, G, Alt A, B, R, G. Somewhere like there. Alt A, B, G. Let's come here. Alt A, B, G. Okay, so that's pretty good to begin with something, right? Okay, so we have that. Alt C and key. Okay. Let's do a mirror from the stone also. Okay, the axis is very funny. Okay, that's the wrong selection. I need the gemstone. It's this one. Okay, perfect. Now let's activate the clipping. Or not. We won't. I explain why later. Okay, we have this. Let's use okay. If I activate the clipping, I could close the gap in the middle, but then I might have, because sometimes when you use a clipping, the mesh doesn't close well, and that's a small problem for printing. So a safe way to do that is just copy the original, hide the original, apply the mirror, go to edit mode, take the faces on the inside with the shift key, remove only the faces, go to edge mode, front view, X-ray, B, and then do a bridge edge loop. Why? It's very important not to have the middle face, the inside face. If you keep it, you're gonna have printing problems because you need to repair the mesh, and that's we'll talk about that way later on. But as a safe practice, remove the inside face. So that's why I didn't use the clipping function, because it's sometimes unpredictable if it's going to keep the inside face or not, and it's better to be safe. Okay, so that's why we're like this. All right, so I have the mesh, but I'm going to put some subdivisions right there. Let's put, I can use quite many. Let's do an X, Y. Okay, that's the zone I want to cut. Something like this. Yeah. Let's make it bigger. Okay, sorry. Before I make it bigger, let's do set origin to geometry, then make it bigger. Now let's make an SX. Okay, that should be nice. Obviously, you don't, well, you might know what I'm doing, but the position of the cut is somewhere around there. But then I'll see, because okay, so we have all that. We have the ring, we have the cutter there, and the rest. So now let's take this guy. Let's call it ring, just ring. Let's take this guy. Let's name it cutter, just like that. I'm going to copy. Let's do a Shift D. Hide the original cutter again. Now this object convert to mesh. Now the ring, let's do a Shift D to copy the original, because it's a curve. So let's hide the curve. The copy, let's bring it to mesh. So now I have two meshes. Let's make this one smooth there. Okay, so I want to remove the cutter. So to the ring, let's add a Boolean modifier. It's a difference modifier. Let's select the cutter and let's hide the cutter. So we have a cut. It's a pretty nice cut. It's a bit too high. No, it's pretty good. The only thing, well, the edge is giving it a special look. And obviously I need to cut in the middle also, but that's looking already pretty good. What I can do now is take this and put it in a better position according to the cut I've just made. All right? Okay, so that's pretty nice. Okay, so I think it's pretty good for a tutorial. This is a complete design. What I might want to change. Okay, let's add a simple deform modifier and use the tapper. Let's do the tapper. Okay, let's try to find the axis here. Y-axis. Okay, Y, but lock the X-axis. Perfect. This gives us a nice tapper there, which is perfect with the trapeze diamond there. And I'm going to call this tutorial completed for modeling part. Let's make the render. All right, quick render, add the mesh plane 0, 0, 0. Let's make it big. Let's put cycles on. Okay, this is good. Let's put this guy right here. Let's put the view right there. I'll control 0. Let's configure the camera field. Let's put a huge number right there so we can see far away. Let's change the focal distance, 80. All right, let's make a square render for Instagram, 920. We're way too far. Okay, if we're too far, let's move the user view there. I'll control 0. Let's put it right here. Okay, and change the focal length. That's 65 will be good. All right, so we're good. Now, let's go and activate some things on the graphic card. Show me we go. Also, let me check. Oh, we're okay. Okay, let's put on the preview mode. There's no light and nothing. Okay, let's add. Well, let's add no light at all. Let's go to world. Let's add an environment texture. Let's put an HDR file, XR file somewhere there. Let's use which one? Maybe this. Okay, let's put something stronger at 5. Let's remove the overlays. Let's go there. Okay, so now we need shading and materials. So let's select this guy. It's going to be a new material. It's going to be metal material. Okay, that's principled. It's going to be 1 metallic, 1 specular, roughness at 0. Let's go at preview here. Let's go at cam view. That's pretty fun. We need a shade smooth. Okay, that's pretty nice. Now, all that's metal, we need to select this. This is going to be metal. This is going to be metal. This is going to be metal. And this is going to be metal. All right. Now, this guy, new diamond. Let's go transmission 1, IOR 243, metallic 0, specular 1, roughness 0. Okay, we're looking good. This is diamond, and this is okay. The baguette, the trapeze baguettes. Let's remove the overlays just for a second. Now the ground. Let's put a new material for the ground. Ground metallic 0.7, roughness 0.3, specular 0.5. That's nice. Let's change the color to something bluish. Okay, that's very good. That's very good. The only thing I don't like, I'm going to correct something or add something. Let's see, layout. I'm still going to model something right here. Okay, I'm going to add a sphere just for decoration purposes right here. 0 right there. Okay, let's make it 1 millimeter right here. I'm going to have a look at some options. I don't like that ending there. This is my fault, obviously. Smooth. Object smooth. Let's make it metal. Okay. I have that. Let's make a Shift D, G, Shift D right there. Okay, that's a nice option. That's better. It's gonna look better, better. Okay, I don't want that sharp corner there for aesthetics and ergonomic reasons. Okay, now we have this and that. Let's make a Control J. Let's make a modifier mirror from the sphere on the y-axis. Let's apply that. Let's take these guys with Shift, Control J. Let's add a new mirror modifier from the stone, and that's looking good. That's looking good. Just to show ways to make things to your design so they don't look bad. Okay, now what I don't like is a stylish problem. So I'm going to remove the spheres. Don't like the spheres because everything is sharper in my design. So we're going to use another ID there. Okay, we're going to apply the form here. Let's go to edit mode. So we have some million faces there, but we should be able we should be able there used to be a okay. I'm going to select, let's go maybe to edge mode. No, let's go to vertex mode. No, let's go out. Let's create, so I want to use, let's add a cube. Let's make the same idea, but let's use simply another grading here. Let's center it SY. Okay. Let's add a subdivision right there many times. No. We're going just to bevel it. So use a bevel modifier. Let's make it 3 times. Okay, that's quite nice. That's going to work better. Just find a nice middle angle here. I'm going to keep the edges, but this, okay, this solves the problem. This is design. This is a design issue. This is very different from other type of technical issues because you know what? Let's SX. No, sorry, SX. So we don't get inside of the stone. Okay, so designing problems are way different than manufacturing problems because, okay, here I'm too much on the inside, but I won't be too much of a problem. Alt H, 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 H. Okay, don't forget to activate filters for render. All that's hidden, we need to remove from rendering, prevent from rendering. H. All this I need to hide. Okay, that's nice. This is going to be metal, metal. Here, let's make it, okay, let's do Boolean. Let's do Boolean from the stones. So now if I hide the stones, I remove the place for the stone. It's okay. Let's do a smooth shading there. Let's activate the auto smooth there. That's good. And that's okay. Let's transform this guy to mesh just in case. I'm still going to move it a bit here and there so it doesn't show too much on the inside. Right, let's just do a mirror of that. Mirror. There you go. From there. All right. We have that now. Let's check the stones. We have that. Okay, perfect. 0 to get the camera view. Let's see how we're doing. Because design is very subjective. You might you might say, I don't like what you just did. I don't like that. I don't like that small block there you added. Um, I like it. I like it because it makes a step, and um, I prefer to the spheres. The spheres had the stylish problem because they're all round and the entire design is straight and trapeze shaped. All right, so we have that. It's quite nice. But we're just going to add some to the metal. We're okay. We might okay. Let's do something there. Um, we have this, and that, and this. We have this is all the metal. Let's do a Shift D. Let's make convert to mesh. Let's make a Control J. Now I have the entire ring as one single object. I did that because I want to get a UV mapping. Let's select all with A. Let's do just a cube projection. I think should be quite good for this. It's quite a simple UV there because we're going to put some scratches on the ring to make it look better. Okay, now we have that. So all the rest, let's let's see how we can create. Let's create a new collection. So this object, we're going to move to the new collection. I just can, well, you can just drag and drop to the other collection. The diamond also to the other collection, and these guys also to the new collection. Now, the camera also I'm going to move to this collection and the floor. Okay, now I can totally hide the first collection so it won't render, it doesn't show anymore in the viewport. Now let's go back here, and this object is metal, but it's just one mesh. Okay, so let's view this here. Okay, that's pretty nice, but we can so I already did the UV mapping, so let's just bring in texture image. Let's plug this nowhere. Let's add a vector bump. Let's go to, so this is going to be height, normal. Let's open a scratch image or something like that. What do we have here? Let's see by modified date. Okay. Let's have scratches. Scratches. Okay, these scratches right there. And add UV map right here. UV map, which is the only one I have. Now here, this UV map for the positioning of that. So let's have a look. It should look pretty bad now. Okay, that's bad, but we can see where the scratches go. And let's put a very small number like 0.01 for this guy. That's a bit better to make some scratches in the ring. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. Now maybe the floor a bit less. Let's put that 15. Oh, that's nice. Okay, that's nice. It's very nice. Okay, we have this and that. Let's take the camera just to move it a bit. Okay, and let's have a look here and there. Okay, what I still can change is the light path. I know I'm already pretty good. I already have 32. That's nice. Okay. Um, I think we're good. We're good for this tutorial. So let's just remove this and that. You know how to make the render. Well, that was tutorial number 4 for a jewelry design with Blender and Damien Rohrbach. Check out my web pages and subscribe. Leave your comments and questions. Please share and hope you like this tutorial. And well, beloved and blessed jewelry community, this is all for today. See you very soon. Take care, be well, be happy, be productive, and that's all for today. Bye.